Okay, so to start off, I kind of want you guys to think back to when you were 18 years old. You're going through your senior year of high school, so many changes happening. You're graduating, you're thinking about college, you're getting a job. Now imagine if you were just thrown out on the street to yourself just to fend for yourself. That's exactly what happens when kids age out of the foster care system. So a study showed that 19-year-old youth in Illinois were a lot more successful than those 19-year-old youth in Wisconsin who chose not to stay in foster care. So they did not experience as much hardships or economic problems or criminal histories. So today we're going to talk about aging out of the foster care system. I'm Ava Coleman, and this is Jessica Rice. So this is kind of the truth about aging out. So an estimated 2,000 young people age out of the foster care system each year. Now nearly 40% of that become homeless. The percentage of children who age out of the foster care system with PTSD is 25%, and they don't get any help with that when they're just thrown out on the street. Children with a diagnosed disability of any kind, even just a learning disability, are twice as likely to age out of the foster care system. So this graphic here kind of shows some facts about aging out of the foster care system. So only 54% will graduate with a high school diploma. 1 in 5 will be homeless in a year. 1 in 4 will be incarcerated within 2 years. 71% of women who age out will be pregnant by the age of 21. Less than 3% will earn a bachelor's degree, and over 50% will be unemployed by the age of 24. So the cost of having a child in foster care is over $19,000 per year per child. So the state and federal expenditures for this total over $4.3 billion. So if we're going to be spending this much money on foster care, why don't we make sure that it makes kids successful in life?
So the cost of doing nothing, there's about 26,000 kids that age out of the foster system every year. With that being said, most of them cause around $300,000 in lifetime costs, whether that be doing early pregnancy, getting involved in drugs, being incarcerated, just anything like that that us taxpayers have to pay towards. It ends up being around $7.8 billion over their lifetime. So our problem paying statement that we have today is the foster system forces unprepared children out of the system, which leads to an increase in homelessness, unemployment, drug use, and other life issues such as pregnancy. So our solution, Prepare First, is going to be a series of meetings that are done with the foster kids and their foster parents. They will provide housing and educational support for aging out fosters. With these meetings, they will teach financial skills and life skills to ease the transition whenever they do go to age out of their homes. With that being said, we will also provide medical aid, which would be emotional and physical. And then we will also partner with local businesses to prepare them for creating employment opportunities. So how are we different? So we have our Prepare First, and we listed what all we're going to be doing, and then we also have IBE Extended Foster Care, and then the Covenant House. So IBE Extended Foster Care is a title program here in the U.S., so they deal with a lot of families that actually confirm that they can stay with their parents even after high school. They allow them to stay in the system until they graduate college. And then the Covenant House, they are a shelter, which they usually home about 80,000 kids a year, boys and girls. But with that being said, they also make sure that they stay in school, they prepare them for college, they do provide them housing, and then they also teach them financial and life skills. But Prepare First, we're not only going to provide the educational and the housing and the life skills like Covenant House does, but we're also going to make sure that they are prepped for employment and that the foster parents are also being helped as well. So our value proposition statement for aging out foster children who need more preparation, Prepare First is going to provide the necessary life skills, education, housing, and other skills needed for adulthood. Unlike IBE Extended Foster Care and Covenant Housing, Prepare First will provide more than the basic education and housing needed to help foster children prosper into the real world. So that being said, we have paired up with a few partners. One of them is EVSC. The next one is Department of Child Services, the Foster Care to Success, and also, again, the Covenant House, which is going to be our primary source. These key activities, we're going to be creating lesson plans that are going to be provided during the meetings. That's going to be said, what we're going to be talking about, how we're going to help them. And we're also going to have to establish locations and teachers. So that being said, Evansville Vandenberg School Corporation, or EVSC, they're going to be hosting all of our meetings. Most of our key resources that we have are going to be the educational platforms. We're going to be receiving grants and donations. Strategic partners and volunteers also going to be done or held through with our Covenant House, like I said, our primary source. And then And we're also going to make a website that's going to make all this information available to everyone out there. And again, our value proposition, which was recently said, Prepare First is going to provide the necessary life skills, education, housing, and other skills needed for adulthood.
Okay, so we're going to get our feedback by taking a little trial run similar to your guys' group of a series of classes and just get the feedback from the foster kids, the foster parents, along with the teachers and the DCSF workers that we're going to be working with. So our customer channels, we do want to work with the Evansville Vanderburg School Corporation, along with their students and teachers, just to get our word out and to get our program into the system. We also want to work along with Covenant House because they do provide that extra housing after the children age out of foster care, but they kind of stop there. So we want to add on to their program by adding in these classes. Then our customer segments is, of course, the foster care youth that we're going to be working with. The foster parents, because we do want them to be a part of this process, we think that's really important to making the kids be successful, along with the Evansville teachers and students, along with the DCFS caseworkers, because we want to make sure that they get the word out too when they're working with these families, and also the Evansville and Indiana community. So for our revenue, we want to work with the Children's Bureau because they give out a lot of grants, especially for foster care systems, and even specific grants for aging out programs like ours. We also will do donations, and then we also want to partner with the Jason Hayes Foundation grant, which focuses on aging out of the foster care system. So for our costs, we're going to do a 1-hour class that's only $10, or you can do a 6-month deal, which is 48 classes, and includes a monthly session with a certified therapist or counselor, or $350. So additional costs would be school supplies and also the $50 per therapist session. So really, when we think about this, we just want you to think, what if this was you? If you were 18 years old and you were just thrown on the street, what would you do? You would need help, you would need assistance, and that's what Prepare First is. Thank you.